It's easy to create professional quotes for your customers in Workever. This video will show you how you can view quotes using the quotes list, how to add a new quote, add costs to your quote, convert your quote to a job, and convert an existing job to a quote in Workever. Quotes list. The quotes list is where you will find any quote that you've created. To get to the quote list, click Quotes in the left-hand menu. You'll see a list of all your quotes, as well as your quote statuses, which can be clicked for easy filtering. These statuses are customizable and can be tailored to suit your business from the Settings section. If you need more advanced filtering, you can use the Filters section to filter by a particular customer, date range, site, and much more. You also have a keyword search that can be used, which is handy when you want to search for a key piece of information. Adding a quote. To add a quote, click the Add Quote button. Select an existing customer from the drop-down, or you can create a new customer from here. Enter a quote name or use a quote template. Templates can be created and edited in the Settings section. Fill in any additional information you require. You can then select a site address by typing manually or using the Google-powered search box. If you are using an existing customer with saved site locations, then you can also use the drop-down to select an existing site address. Once you have added an address, you can define the duration that the quote will remain valid for, as well as amend the date which it was raised. For example, you can backdate a quote, which is useful if your field worker has provided a verbal quote prior to contacting the internal team, or postdate a quote. If you need to assign this quote for someone to go out on site, you can also do so by clicking the Assigned To box and filling out the scheduled details. If you don't need to assign this quote, you can ignore the Assigned To section. Once you are done, click Save. Add costs to your quote. To add a cost to your quote, go to Cost Items, and then click the Add Item button. We can then select a saved item, if we have created them in Settings. This will be a list of costs, or stock that you use regularly. These saved items can also be imported in by a spreadsheet, or synced over to Workever, if you have them in your accounting software. Alternatively, you create a one-off cost item by typing in the Items box, and filling in the remaining details. Once you're done, click Save, or save and add more if you want to add additional items. Converting your quote to a job. If your customer accepts your quote, you can then mark the quote as accepted, and click Convert to a job. This is really useful as it saves lots of time in admin by taking all of the customer's details from the quote and pulling them into the job you create automatically. This includes address, any files and notes added, and costs. You can also add any additional data you want to the job, and then click Save. Converting an existing job to a quote. You can also convert an existing job into a quotation for your customer. This may be really useful if you need to price up additional work over what was agreed, or if, for example, you usually carry out pre-work surveys. To do this, head over to an existing job. Click on Convert to Quote, which will open the Add New Quote form. All of the details, costs, files and notes will be added automatically to the quote. You can then add or amend any details you need to, such as name and description. Then, save the quote, which will be ready to send to your customer. So now you've learnt how you can view quotes using the quotes list, how to add a new quote, add costs to your quote, convert your quote to a job, and convert an existing job to a quote in Workever.